In the earliest days of our nation, the herald was sounded for the elite men of England to decide the fate of our country. Such a gathering was known to our forefathers as the Witten. Now, in the ruins of our kingdom, the call has been sounded again. A new, rising elite of steadfast men and women have a new Witten. This is the epicentre of the new British right. We shall hear from the heavyweights of our sphere: Carl Benjamin, Ed Dutton, Howard Cox, Nathan Hood, Nina Power, Catherine Blakelock, Josh Firm, and many more inspired speakers. This Witten will surely be generational. Buy your tickets now at shieldings.com.
So it's about time that we just start facing some really hard facts. Who is on whose side in what is happening in Britain at the moment? So let's look at the small boats data that the government publishes every week, and as you can see, it's more than 1,000 every week. So this has left us with somewhere in the region of 200,000 illegals who have broken into our country that we are paying £4 million a day for them to live in hotels, and the government is desperate to scatter them around our communities because they think it'll be cheaper. That's wise. Anyway, we've got a map here of the hotels themselves, and as you can see, they're basically everywhere. All over England in particular, in fact. England is, of course, carrying the burden of this. There's a small amount in Wales there, and there are a few in Northern Ireland and Scotland, but it's mostly England. I mean, we in Swindon, we have our own one. It is the Thistle Express Hotel. I didn't even know that, to be honest. Thankfully, that's not very near any housing. It's not, on a housing estate. It's in the middle of town. So at least there's a limited amount of trouble they can get into there. But as you can see, they're just everywhere. And we're paying for this. For some reason, we have a duty to have them in our country. Thankfully, though, I mean, at least Manchester and Birmingham get to have their fair share, as well as, various other places in Leeds. These migrant-enriched areas already, so I guess they have their countrymen come and visit them. But anyway, there are just loads. Every single day, it's, a new terrible thing about these migrant hotels. For example, this, again, is only from a week ago. 3-star hotel in Barbican, which is in London, became a living nightmare for locals. Blazing mattresses, a TV held from windows, and no fewer than 41 guests charged with 90 offences, ranging from rape to sexual assault to robbery and bag snatching. I mean, what kind of people do we think break into our country? It's actually not people who are fleeing because they feel afraid. Those sorts of people would engage with the authorities. These people, again, are just breaking themselves in. Here's another one who raped a 15-year-old girl. Sadek Nizkad, an asylum seeker from Afghanistan, decided to rape a 15-year-old girl. He's been jailed for 9 years in Stirlingshire, which, brilliant. And then there's a hotel in Bournemouth where one raped a woman in the public toilets and was given bail. Mohammed Abdullah was charged with rape of a woman 16 years of age and then over and assaulting a female of the age of 13 by penetration with a part of the body or thing. So, okay, brilliant. These this is what is being put all over our country. There's this continual repeated pattern of behaviour. And so the question is, why are they doing it? Why on earth does the government think this is appropriate to fill our country with people who are, well, not exactly respectful of the locals, shall we say? And there are videos like this going around where you can see them bussing them in. And when you see them bussing them in, you realise this looks more like an army. These are obviously fit fighting age young men who are being trafficked by our government. And as you can see, it seems more like a foreign army squadron to me. And to be honest with you, it kind of does. It kind of does look that way. I can see why people think that. There are no women and children here at all. This looks like it could be a military endeavour, doesn't it? Especially as they're all basically dressed the same, in the same grey jumper and grey trousers. That's just really peculiar, isn't it? They appear to be wearing what is in effect some kind of uniform. It's just very, very bizarre. Not only are these men going to be given accommodation, money, and essentially complete grace from the state, they're also being given health coverage for free. These certificates, as Lewis found out, give 100% free access to NHS services, including prescriptions, dental care, eye tests, travel to hospital, and more. And so he got these figures through freedom of information requests. 1 million, nearly, certificates were issued to asylum seekers between 2020 and 2025. So they're taking care of their men, right? Like, we understand they're taking care of their boys. They're not just giving them the bare minimum. Like, you've got to pay for your prescriptions. If you want these, like, I've got to pay for my own dentists. Like, I've got to pay for my own travel to hospital. This is mad. But anyway, good on Lewis for finding all this information out. And then we discover the other day, about 5 days ago now, that the government is setting up an elite police unit to monitor social media for anti-migrant protest. Now, this is just a fascinating thing. An elite unit of detectives is being convened to monitor social media for anti-migrant posts. Well, I mean, why would there be so much anti-migrant sentiment in the country? Not only did we not ask for them to be here, but they keep doing terrible things. And we're not happy with having to have them everywhere in the country. We don't want to live cheek by jowl with these people. We never asked for this. In fact, all we've ever done is try to stop this. And yet here we are. And now the government is like, yeah, well, we're worried that you're the problem, right? One of our migrants that we've brought in might go crazy and do something truly atrocious. I mean, the other thing's awful, absolutely abominable. But there is another layer above that this could trigger. And so they're worried about you. They think you are the problem. And so they have, with the National Internet Intelligence Investigations Team, will operate from the National Police Coordination Centre in Westminster, drawing officers from forces across England and Wales. So they're centralised. They're drawing those people who are most conformable to their way of looking at this situation, drawing them together in Westminster. And the unit will be tasked with flagging early signs of potential civil unrest, maximising social media intelligence after last year's riots exposed gaps in police planning. So the point of this, and they literally just say this, the Home Office ministers say it will give local commanders national support to spot and respond to online threats. The move comes as protests outside of asylum hotels spread across the country. So they want you to stop objecting to this. They are going to go out of their way to track you, to undermine you, and to silence you where they can, where they've got the power to do it. And this is because you are concerned that the government keeps doing something that is against the will of the people. They have no democratic mandate for any of this, and they never have done. And yet here we are, with the government being like, well, we need to keep an eye on the native British public now, because we have hundreds of thousands of illegal asylum seekers who broke into the country that we're going to take care of. And again, when you see them, I mean, they just seem to be fit and active young men who are fleeing war zones like Albania. And it just, honestly, it's such total horseshit, right? Everyone can see. And yet here they are being like, no, we need to protect them. We need to take care of them. We need to make sure they've got healthcare. We need to make sure that they're in a lovely hotel that you're going to pay for. And then if you object, we're going to create a police state that monitors you and follows you and makes sure that you can't get out of line. A Home Office spokesman said, this new team will help police forces track real-time information and protect communities from incidents and emergencies before they escalate. Okay, but who are the communities? The communities here are the illegal immigrants community and the native British community to whom the illegal immigrants are a burden. And they are most concerned about you going out and causing trouble, frankly. And this has been something that has been revealed to us. Honestly, it's genuinely shocking, but it shows who the government is worried about. Right? They're not worried about their illegal immigrants. These, to them, are a ward. They are groups of whom they are deeply concerned. They're like, no, we're here to protect these adult men from, I don't know, deprivation. I don't know what they think they're doing. They never explain why these men are like vulnerable, because sorry, they don't look bloody vulnerable to me. They look perfectly normal, frankly. But anyway, we've got a bunch of emails because the secretive Whitehall spy unit has been used by the governments to target social media posts criticising migrant hotels and two-tier policing. So you saying, actually, I'm not up for this. I'm not up for being made a second-class citizen in my own country. And I'm not up for us actually having to pay for a bunch of foreign men to live in this country for God only knows what bloody intention. Well, the government is going to try and silence you, and they have an actual spy unit being used to watch you. The Telegraph can reveal that officials working for Peter Kyle, the technology secretary, the chap who recently said that Nigel Farage loves Jimmy Savile, with a reading age of 8 years old, has flagged videos with concerning narratives to social media giants, including TikTok, warning that they were exacerbating tensions on the streets. Right, so the migrant rapes aren't something that they're thinking about cracking down on. All of the other trouble that these people are causing, they aren't thinking about cracking down on that. However, they are worried that you knowing about what these people are doing is a problem. If you know what's happening, that this exacerbates tensions, and this might lead to riots or something like that. Oh God, if there's one thing we can't have, it's anti-migrant thought percolating around the country. Emails recovered by a US congressional committee show that civil servants have complained to tech firms about content mentioning asylum seekers, immigration, and two-tier policing. So, anti-government content. Content that is critical of the government and is critical of the wards of the government and what the government has been doing to us. They've tried to get censored from US tech from social media on the US tech companies. The dossier has emerged as ministers battle claims that the UK is censoring social media with the Online Safety Act, which they of course are. And this disclosure reveals that members of the government's National Security and Online Information team complained about a series of posts that were critical of mass immigration. So what these requests reveal to us is that the government is well aware of what the quote-unquote far-right narrative is, and are just actively trying to contain and sideline it, withdraw from it, avoid having to engage with it. And as you can see by this one, we want to draw your trust and safety team's attention to this piece of content. I can't link it. It shows scrolling of a Freedom of Information request posted on this website and refers to them as undocumented fighting age males. Please could this be assessed by the trust and safety team? There is a definite sense of urgency from here. So the UK government has a department that is petitioning American tech companies to censor information. They didn't say it was wrong. And this is a Freedom of Information request, so I'm going to guess that the information is accurate. They want to censor what is accurate information because they don't like what that information shows to the public. And they don't want people viewing it and saying, oh, right, it's just a bunch of fighting age men, is it? Right, okay, well, why are we paying for these people? Why are they here? Isn't this dangerous to have a bunch of unemployed, just loitering around, these foreign men just loitering around our communities? Like, isn't this dangerous? And obviously it is. And they're just like, yeah, well, we just don't want you knowing about it. We just don't want you thinking about it. We don't want you talking about it to one another, which means, of course, you need to talk about it all the more because, you know, the opposite of what they want is where we need to go. An unnamed civil servant warned that there were significant risks of protests at migrant hotels becoming violent because of the posts, and there's a definite sense of urgency. Well, I mean, why are they here? And these emails were sent last year, so this has been going on for quite a while, and they'll still be going on now, just FYI, by the way. Here's another one, requested TikTok. I'm sure will not be surprised at the significant volumes of anti-immigrant content directed at Muslim and Jewish communities, as well as concerning narratives about the police and a two-tier system we're seeing on the online environment. We are keen to understand what content you are seeing across your platform and any measures you might have taken in response. So basically, they want TikTok to start curbing this information. Now, TikTok is by far the most censorious of the big tech platforms, so TikTok probably will just take it down, frankly. Here's another one. A third example of concerning content flagged by the team was a video of Pakistani men celebrating on the street and captioned, "It looks like Islamabad, but it's Manchester." The team declared it had been shared in order to incite fear of the Muslim community. It's like, dude, I think there might be bigger problems than that. And I think that what these emails really reveal to us is the direction of grace that comes from the government. The government is not concerned about your concerns. In fact, the only way in which they're concerned about your concerns is when they intersect and interact with their own desire to protect the Muslim community or the illegal immigrant community that they're bringing in and giving. I mean, they're treating them like favoured children. Like, these are, my best sons have finally arrived back from the foreign lands in which they were found. And now I can get to give them everything that they want because we love them so much. And you, stepchildren of the British people, the red-headed stepchildren, you can pay for it. And if you've got any problems with this, we're going to put into place a police state, an online police state that's going to monitor and try and censor you. And then we're going to start producing censorship laws that will continue to censor you until you just have no avenue to share information about your complaints regarding this. And it's just like, man, it's so weird to live in a situation where the government has so thoroughly betrayed you and is actively betraying you, is completely engaged in a continual betrayal and will use your money that you have to pay them at the point of a gun to continue betraying you, to turn you into a second-class citizen. But this is the reality of Britain now. This is what they're doing now. And again, if I was citing, like, you know, radical fringe newspapers or something like this, then I'd understand if, you know, people were skeptical. But this is what is happening, and there's very little that they're prepared to compromise on with this. And so we need to really be paying attention to all of this. Anyway, at the end of August, I'll be at the Witten speaking, so do go and get tickets. Come and join us there. It's a weekend event. It's not cheap, but, you know, you get what you pay for, basically. And I'll see you there.